Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're back over on the free-to-play account, and as you can see, we've almost pushed through all the way through chapter 37. We have 17,000 diamonds. We have been amassing a ton of these from the Golden Frontier, as well as the progression through here. And of course, we do get all of the rewards with the Awakened version of Folks. That is up right now. The Signing Gifts, the Sounds of Oblivion, the Gift of Time. So I want to hop in here. I want to do some summons on this account and really updating the progression in here. As you can see, we are sitting on a ton of Ascended heroes. It's been pretty cool to see over the last, two plus months at this point that we've been able to build out a lot of heroes. We have some Awakened heroes that are already Ascended. We have some Celestials. We are working right now on Aurelia. Then we'll get into Demia. Then we'll get into Nox. One by one, we are slowly getting these heroes. Like I said, we do have the Awakened version of Envy, trying to finish out Furniture, which is incredibly difficult. But we also did get to the point that we have the tier 1 gear done in its entirety, which is very cool to see. Pushing towards the tier 2 gear, as we see right here. But gold is the issue we're running into now at this point too, is we are not even buying anything within the Beast Ground, but we're going to do all of these summons because right here within the exchange, you can see it is a couple million, 40 million in here for the gold. Unfortunately, in the exchange, there's nowhere. I'm not even getting remotely close to that, just for the simple fact within the store, doing all of our regular purchases is running about 15 million. So even now we're a little bit short that we're going to have to buy. And so again, we're not generating enough gold as it sits right now to go ahead and buy everything, including all the baits that we do have within the Beast Ground. But we're going to have to really reevaluate and see, because we also do need gold at that point to continue to gain levels within AFK Arena. Now you'll notice we did pick up some Draconic Scrolls. We have 78 time emblems. I cannot stress this enough when it comes to the Awakened heroes, being able to actually go ahead and build them out and do the summons for them, really making a big difference. We've been pushing tower progression, also getting a lot of these mystical chests, which don't really contain very much. But remember, it is the accumulation of things we get within AFK Arena that really pushes towards that end game. Now, right here, we do get lucky, guys, right off the bat, a copy of Lucilla. Now, overall, has a crazy amount of utility with Liberta. I know in a lot of current formations has been kind of replaced, but you also have to think bigger picture is the hero still has a lot of utility. Even at a lower level, it's still going to work incredibly well with Liberta. And overall, again, might not be the best in slot priority, but for a lot of accounts, especially newer accounts, that is going to be a game changer in a lot of different areas. Now, Superb Elite Stones, we have pulled one of our Awakened heroes out of here, which unfortunately we don't, but I will take a copy of Telemar. If you have not built this hero, this is probably one of the most pivotal buffing support heroes that we've seen in AFK Arena. Over the last couple iterations have been working incredibly well. Then we have the Rare Stones, and we've also picked up within the Garrison. If you're not familiar, again, we are kind of looking at this. We do have, and we did pick up Rem again. We are also picking up Shuna. We have 44 days. You can see there's going to be a point where we'll no longer have to use resources for them, which is exactly what we're doing. And this is really in anticipation of knowing that Marcial and Laios will be coming shortly into the Garrison, meaning this is going to be a way that we're going to be able to get them. So we're going to have to shift kind of our resources from getting both of these. And I think I want 2 more times, and then it's free Rem forever. Even though you have to rehire them, you can have the hero forever. Once we get to that point, we'll be done, which is going to be awesome to see. Now, I did move some people from the friends list. You can see some people have noticed that I've removed some of the inactive players. Guys, make sure your friends list is active. Make sure your guild is active. It is a game changer in so many different places of AFK Arena, being able to add friends in here and actually being able to ensure that players are active within the game itself. It makes a big difference. So let's hop into the Noble Tavern. Want to do some summons. Now, we're still looking for Shamira. A lot of players were kind of questioning why we're still going for Shamira. She is still a staple in a crazy amount of formations. Doesn't have really, the one-off utility that we see. And we could go in here and get a couple of those one-off heroes, like one copy of Thorin, one copy of like a Matria, one copy of, even thinking, that Awakened version of Belinda. We could come in here, we could do that. Now, again, we were kind of looking for Shamira. We built her up, already have her at Legendary Plus. We did summon and pull one copy of Baden. So you can see we actually have Baden in there. And then, of course, we did get that one copy of the Awakened version of Solus as well. Those were out of the regular summons. And I'm almost wondering if we should come in here and if we should just do kind of that one pull copy That way we do have the ability. I also want to look at draconic summons and see what that looks like for where we're at. So fingers crossed, guys, we'll pick up something good out of here. It's been a little bit since we've done the summons on here, but there's a copy of Bron. Now, Bron is one, I believe he is already sitting at Ascended. So getting another copy, getting that star in there, not really going to make a huge difference just because not a priority, but also thinking of the shards and looking at a lot of other heroes. When it comes to engraving, we are not producing and we don't have enough shards to cover all of the heroes that we got to 1 stars. It is kind of playing the forever game of catch up that we have within AFK Arena. Now, before we move forward, guys, I wanted to hop into the Dragon Isle, and I wanted to hop in here because we are 2 pulls away from getting Begress. We have continued to build up, and I'm going to spend 5,000 diamonds in here, including the 10 scrolls, because we're trying to push through a little bit more content within the Dragonforge trials. Getting a couple more rewards out of there can make a big difference. And honestly, I do not recommend doing this on an account, but look at that, guys. We got a double right there. We got a copy of Nyla. That is absolutely awesome to see. It's been a little while since we've gotten a pull, and we got a second copy. So Scion, we're going to be able to take to Elite Plus. Now, again, I'm going to use 1 set of 5,000 diamonds. Boom. Maybe something good in this pull. Maybe nothing at all. Just got some more copies of Gorgie. But I wanted to get the free copy of Begress. This is going to be the unlock for him. Now, again, support hero, even though he is a warrior, support-wise, he does incredibly well. But again, both of these heroes I'm going to be able to use within the other game modes itself. That's the reason why we did want to go in here and we wanted to pick them up, because Worm Scale Sanctuary, of course, going to give us our 2 coins right there, enough for 1 more level out of here. That is going to convert and allow us to go into the Dragon Forge and add a couple more levels in there. This is where we've been struggling. We can get to 4. We can't get through 4. I feel like in the Dragon Horn, getting a 2 more in there, again, not really going to make a huge difference. Don't want to get the basic furniture. Focusing, really looking at getting those signature items built up out of here, but also looking at getting more levels for your non-Draconic heroes. But like I had said earlier, when you look at Draconic heroes in comparison, you can see they are actually at level 600, where the rest of the team is actually 325. So that is a just absolute astronomical, really big difference in having the build and being able to go through here. So I'm hoping with the Draconic heroes we got, including getting that copy of Gorgie, that we're going to be able to make a little bit more progression in there with the summons itself. And then, like I said earlier, trying to finish out Aurelia, trying to finish out a couple other heroes. And I know a few of these starting to get to the point where we're adding stars on them. Like I had said, we don't have any of the engraving mats. So Palmer going to 1 star, unfortunately, can't engrave. Even looking at, a few other heroes, even looking at Bron. Again, we're adding a little bit more stats. The engraving, unfortunately, we cannot do at this point. But eventually, we will be able to. Aurelia's already at a Mythic Plus level. And then, of course, we do have this copy of Gorgie. Want to build them up a little bit further. And then I believe we did get the copy. Yeah, the Elite Plus right there. We're going to have to get a little bit more food. Couple more copies, again, of a couple heroes. But I do like where we're building it. And we already have Leviathan at Legendary Plus. Then we have 1 copy. Hildebrand, of course, we're getting out of the guild store when we're not using all of those resources to actually build up the rest of the heroes. Now let's hop into the Stargazer. This is where we're going to burn through the rest of these diamonds. Fingers crossed, guys, that we can get a copy of Aurelia. I'm hoping, really hoping we can pull at least 1 more. I'd love to see the diamonds on here. It would be just absolutely epic. And unfortunately, pull number 4 doesn't give us a copy. All right, so a little bit shy, but that's okay, even though we didn't get one. All right, so again, I'm kind of thinking, I know Finn had recommended this, and really doing this is I'm going to go in, I'm going to pull a copy of Thorin. Knowing how Thorin works, knowing how exactly Thorin does operate, he's a really big game changer within the Treasure Scramble. That's the reason why we want to build him. Getting that Slumbering Seal built up a little bit further. Let's pull. Now, remember, this is going to be discounted summons. And him and the Awakened version of Belinda are the 2 that I really want to pull 1 copy of, just for the simple fact of the utility of the baseline of the heroes, the SP effect that we see. And there we go. There is our 1 single pull. And of course, it's a double, guys. Right out of the gate, we got a double out of Thorin. That is just absolutely epic. And it's funny because that's pretty normal when I want to pull just one single copy or I don't want a bunch of different copies of the heroes. I do get a double copy. Where's the other glowing one in there? There we go. The brazier right there. So boom, 1 and 2 copies in there. So pretty funny to get double copies of Thorin. All right, guys, let's hop over and I want to pull again 1 copy of Belinda. And then we're going to go all in for the awakened version of Shamira. Fingers crossed, guys. Maybe we could pull it, and it would be kind of crazy if we seen it right after a double, being able to get one of the older heroes in here. Also thinking about building up and getting the Mystic Star Zone. That's another game mode we really need to hopefully get something out. But there is the copy of Belinda, and it's just a single in there, but there is that unlock as well. Picking up some extra diamonds out of the story and the room. And most of the newer heroes, they did not do the room. So unfortunately, we didn't see the room for any of the newer heroes. I don't think they're doing it any longer, but there we go. Some more resources. 0. So we have Belinda, we have Thorin. Again, utility-wise, in a bunch of different game modes, though that is really 2 heroes that are going to make a big difference, and they do make a big difference in progression going through. And we can also equip just some garbage gear on there. Then we can resonate it. That is going to give them the tier gear, trying to get to that tier 2 resonance in there. So let's hop into the beast ground again, trying to make some more progression. Resonance, we are not doing it. Even though we have all of these up to 6, we are not activating it. We are trying to get a couple more of these. And looking at the Fox Fatale and the Ibis, we are building them up to 6 in the entirety to get and really backdate, or when we do and we're able to backdate, we are going to get some more levels on that Slumbering Seal, making sure we build them up. Now remember, when it comes to Thorin, when it comes to the Treasure Scramble, that awakened version of Thorin, and then you look at the seal in there when you have Nox, when you have a couple of heroes, really, really big heroes that make a big difference within the PvP aspect, which is why we're building it. So that takes Fox Fatale to 4. I'm going to go ahead and use this one. Now remember, we're taking Fox Fatale all the way up to 6, just like the rest of these beasts that we have going on in here. So right there is up to level 5. And we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 6 beasts up to level 6. And then, of course, we're building up little by little the Ibis. Let's hop over and do some of the Wishing Shrine. Now, honestly, you could save these until we get the next Awakened Beast. Me personally, guys, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to burn through these. I want the resources, and honestly, looking for the spice material, but everything else that we pull with these copies in here really does make a big difference. Even here, this is going to be more levels that I can gain. This is going to be more levels that I can gain. If you have an earlier account, if you are pay to win, you could be sitting on these for a long, long time, not and really foregoing all of the progression within a bunch of different places. That's the reason why I really do like going in here, building out what I can kind of with what I have available, and then just going from there. Even gaining a couple more levels in here, getting the Elder Tree built out. Every single thing that we're doing is adding a little bit more stats, adding a little bit more of a build out on all of these heroes in the entirety. One by one, we're adding furniture, we're adding tier stones, we're going through the Oak Inn. Let's do some more summons in here. And I believe our final room is built out with Lady Simona, and we don't have anyone else that ascended at this point. But again, thinking of our workshop, once we get a hero to 9 of 9, like we got Labirda to 9 of 9, we're dropping them and moving them out in the entirety. Baby steps for progression. Every single time we're coming in here, we're doing the summons, we're getting more furniture, we're building these heroes out. Again, one at a time, guys. It really is just the accumulation, because I think back and really looking back at the YouTube account where, you know, we have spent 6 years playing the YouTube account. It is 6 years of progression. It is 6 years of, you know, moving through with everything that we have in different game modes for an extended amount of time has been just kind of absolutely crazy. Now in here, we do have Elvita already at 8, but honestly, looking at where we're missing with Envy, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to continue to use this piece on Envy, just because, again, we want to get Envy up to the 9 of 9 furniture. This is going to bring them a little bit closer, one at a time, and then going through recycling everything we're not using. But there is the 7 of 9 for Envy. Going to have to max out the furniture, going to continue to recycle all of the older furniture and going through here. Like I said, guys, baby steps. I mean, we're already at what, 50 50 pieces of mythic furniture as we continue to climb day by day by day, going through here, getting some more resources, getting more diamonds, even getting 8 more wishing leaves out of here. It is the progression, like I said, that we're doing on a daily basis. That really does make a big difference. And I went through a lot of the Golden Frontier. We've been making some progression in there. Don't feel like the league that we're in is going to be number one, but honestly, I'm not really too worried about that because we're still making solid progression. We're getting an incredible amount of loot out of there. So looking at where we have food in here, most of the heroes, even looking at Adrian Elise, looking at Rosaline, most of the heroes in here, we are just waiting for additional copies, and that's it. Even Rowan, I mean, we could go in here, we could use some of these copies, building out Rowan a little bit further, even thinking, you know, Rain we might use, Hendrik we might use, really Sonya, you know what, I'm going to use these copies. And again, I don't recommend using the hero copies just because we're going to have to get those hero copies back sooner or later. But knowing that we're making a lot of progression and really streamlining a lot of the light bearers in here, you can see our hero bundles keep popping up. But going through here and building out a lot of these light bearer heroes is really a game changer for the game mode that we're in, going through tower progression, everything like that. And the goal is to get them up to that Mythic Plus, to where we just need additional copies. Like I said, right here, we need additional copies now of Rowan, we need Rosaline, we need Adrian Elise. We have them here just waiting and really queuing them up for those ascended levels. Just going to take a little bit of time here. Again, thinking of like an Honesta, maybe a Screg. Even looking at like an Alero, not really used anywhere on Tundra. Warwick, every now and then we kind of use them. I'm going to go with an Honesta here, just because, again, we know the impact that we have with Telemar, and that is a hero, again, we need a couple more copies of. Also looking at Goran, that is another one that we are absolutely building out. Now in here, we know, again, more copies of Tamras, more copies of Garok, and then we were looking at building, I believe, Iran at this point. I think this was the one that we were actually looking at adding some more copies to, or building out to a point where we need a damage dealer within the tower itself. He is going to be the damage dealer as we continue to build them out. Same with the Greyborn. We're starting to get them and starting to move a lot more of these up to a higher level. And I can't believe, guys, we have gotten lucky. And thinking about all 3 of these Greyborn in formations, making them and really utilizing these within the tower formations that we'll see in the future is going to be awesome to see. Now, we do have Silas in here. We have Thorin in here. We have a couple that are kind of the one-off kind of cheese heroes that we see, because we have Baden in there. Yeah, I'm not going to build anyone there. Now, of course, unfortunately, we didn't get any more copies right there, but we are getting and really continuing to get, look at all of the Draconic heroes, guys, starting to get them up to that Elite Plus, starting to get a lot more of the high-board Draconic heroes. Again, it just takes a little bit of time, a lot of progression, 37-52. I feel like we can get all the way through 37 based on our level. Excuse me. Probably get into 38, possibly even a little bit more. But all right, guys, so that is going to do it with the free-to-play update. Definitely loving the game, making a lot of progression on the free-to-play account. And again, we're already almost 38 chapters into AFK Arena. It's kind of incredible. So again, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.